This show is brought to you by our partners, talkSPORT Bet. New customers get an exclusive offer of £40 in free bets when you bet £10. Go to talksportbet.com/Inside Liverpool to claim this offer now. Liverpool have agreed a fee for Alexander Isak.
I think people like behind the scenes, I think he knew the chance of him joining Liverpool were very high.
We've gone out and signed the best centre-forward in the world.
He's just such a terrific player. And I think he's going to be frightening, but not for us.
It's a massive statement signing. So it's more of like a chess match. You have to go there wanting to win. And that's not the mindset to be a champion.
The levels at Liverpool is so high at the moment.
Everything about it was perfect.
This Liverpool team is becoming a team of world-class players. The
Carol
Galáctico's era has arrived at Anfield.
Hello and welcome to Inside Liverpool. Every Inside Liverpool show is fun when you just talk about Liverpool Football Club, but this one in particular I think is going to be a fun 45 minutes or so. I'm your host, Sam Ellard. Alongside me for today's fun episode, busy episode, is a man that didn't just play in the Champions League final for Liverpool, he was given man of the match in a Champions League final for Liverpool. It's Jermaine Pennant. Got that one out of the way nice and early,
Get it out of the way.
Jermaine. Are you happy with that one, yeah?
Better. One of your best ones, that.
One of my best ones, there we go. Into the first 30 seconds, that's a good one, isn't it? And also Ryan Bromilow, he does lots of commentary on the talkSPORT international feed, part as well of our talkSPORT Goal Show on talkSPORT's YouTube channel. Ryan, welcome to the show and welcome to your debut.
Thank you.
So Liverpool yesterday in the Premier League beating Arsenal to make it 3 wins from 3, the only team in the Premier League with that 100% record. That was Sunday afternoon, but the news then broke late on Sunday evening that Liverpool have agreed a fee for Alexander Isak, £125 million. It will be a British record transfer fee. So we're recording this on deadline day. It's yet to officially be confirmed, but a fee has been agreed. He's in Merseyside, medical today, 6-year contract. Never in doubt, Jermaine, was it? Never in doubt, right?
Well, the amount of noise that was surrounding it, that he made, I think people like behind the scenes, I think he knew the chance of him joining Liverpool were very high.
Why did it take so long then? Why is it deadline day and this whole thing went on for so long?
This is nothing down to him. This is all the owners, probably the manager as well, saying, look, if we keep him, we'll bring him back in the squad and it'll be it'll be like a new player. And obviously the owners going to his house, speaking to him, trying to change his mind, trying to give him a different picture of how invaluable he is to the team. But he's got his heart and set on one place and one place only, and that was coming to Liverpool. And I think now it's come to a point where the board and the hierarchy have realised, well, I think we've lost him. There's no point keeping someone who doesn't want to be here. Doesn't matter what we offer him, doesn't matter what we can tell him. So for this price tag, for this that we're going to get, the fee that we're going to get, we can invest it in other players.
Right. Alexander Isak in 13 days' time, 13 days' time, is going to be playing for Liverpool away at Burnley at Turf Moor. Seeing Isak in that Liverpool shirt, we've gone out and signed the best centre-forward in the world. He is a Liverpool player. It feels a little bit surreal, doesn't it?
It does feel very surreal. It's a magnificent signing. And it feels like a watershed moment in the Premier League. You know, you think back to the likes of City and Aguero and him being the final piece of that jigsaw. And I think of Van Dijk as well, when he came in, and Alisson, and he showed up that Liverpool team and transformed that Klopp side to take them to being champions and winners of the Champions League. I mean, he's just such a terrific player. And I think he's going to be frightening, but not for us.
Mm. And then, but you know, the Van Dijk and Alisson signings, as we know, were such crucial signings for the football club. And I think Alisson obviously came with a big reputation. Van Dijk, we always knew, was a good defender at Southampton. I'm not sure many people maybe predicted he was going to go on and become the best defender in the world. But this Isak signing is different, I think, to any other signing I can remember in my lifetime, because, Jermaine, we are going out and signing a ready-made, world-class centre-forward. When perhaps Van Dijk at the time at Southampton wasn't the best centre-back in the world, whereas now it's kind of big energy, isn't it? We're the best team in the Premier League. We want to go on and win the Champions League. We're going to go and sign Ekitike, and Isak, best centre-forward in the world. We're going to make sure he's ours.
Yeah, it's a massive statement signing. And not only that, is that the number 9s in this era at the moment are far from. You know, there's not a lot out there, like amazing ones. And
Do you think he's the best number 9 in the world right now?
Oh, yeah. Right now, he's the best number 9 in the world. You've seen his goals that he gets last season. You've seen the goals the previous season, second to Salah. So, like you said, he's proven. And to get one of those players, we've been missing a top number 9 for, I can't remember.
Who was, I mean...
I would say Suarez was probably...
For me, play, obviously, in that great Klopp team was the 9, but he wasn't your traditional number 9, was it? He was come deep, link play up, whereas he obviously didn't score anywhere near as many goals as what Isak's going to. So, yeah, would you say you're kind of natural number 9? You go back to the Torres and Suarez days?
The Torres and the Suarez, since we've really had one of those kind of players, and we've been relying so much on Salah, on Firmino and Mane. Now it's Gakpo and Salah still. And I think this is going to give Salah so much breathing space as we always rely on him. If he doesn't play well, we're like, where the goal's coming from. But now someone like, Ekitike's came in and started like a house on fire. You bring in now an Isak and it's just trouble everywhere. And left, right, there. We're goals coming from everywhere galore.
So Szoboszlai might, and if there's any problems, Szoboszlai will put one top edge from 40 yards out anyway, right?
And it feels like Salah's comments recently very telling actually about that and being selfless. He said, I won the Premier League for myself last year. I wanted to get that done for me. He said, now it's about the team. I think him assisting Isak, Ekitike, and I think Isak offers you the best of both worlds, by the way, as a number 9. He's lethal. He's a lethal operator, but he also can play across the front line. He can link up play. Yeah. And then, if you've used him for 60, 70 minutes and you've got the option, if you don't put Ekitike out on the left, bring him on for 20 minutes.
Yeah, it's going to be...
It's quite frightening.
I think it's fun though, isn't it?
It's great.
I think one of the great things about this, we've got lots of options now. So I'm sure as Champions League football comes on, that we'll see rotation throughout the season. I think we mentioned it a few times on the show, Jermaine, towards the end of last season, that Arne Slot was quite loyal to kind of group of 12 or 13 players. And maybe towards the end of the season, in that game against Newcastle in the Cup, in that game against PSG, I maybe thought some of the players looked a bit tired, a bit leggy. But now, with lots and lots of options, 2 great players in every position, there will be natural rotation throughout the course of the season to keep everyone fresh. But would you say that if we had a Champions League final tomorrow morning, the strongest team is going to be Isak as the 9, Ekitike from the left, Salah from the right, Wirtz off the centre forward, Gravenberch and McAllister as the 2 in 4-2-3-1. Is that fair, Jermaine? You can't argue with that, can you?
You can't argue with that, but just what's Szoboszlai?
It's hard from Gakpo. Cody, I'm sorry, mate, but it's harsh. But
I just feel so bad now leaving Szoboszlai out. He's been...
he's a right back, mate.
He's been the best player in the last 2 games. I thought Szoboszlai's been great. To not put him in the starting 11 is wild. That's how good and that's how strong we are. We're talking about would he fit into the first 11? But Jermaine, we want to be
in a position, don't we, where you're looking at our bench and you're thinking, well, he's a world-class midfield player, he's a world-class defender, he's a world-class attacker. We want to be in that position, don't we, where he's almost got 16 to 18 world-class players to pick from. And finally, because, you think in the Jurgen Klopp never had this strength and depth, did he? For the first time now in my lifetime, we have genuinely all got around 16 to 18 world-class players to pick from.
Is there not an argument that Szoboszlai could just stay at right back?
Well, if he continued to perform as he has...
One thing I would say with him at right back, he's not crossed all about pages today for obvious reasons, scoring an unbelievable free kick. I think, in particular yesterday at right back, I think from a defensive point of view, in terms of aerial duels, clearances, and just looking solid as a right back, I thought he did brilliantly. I know Arsenal yesterday went down our left-hand side, their right-hand side. I thought from a defensive point of view, I think he's been really solid in 2 games at right back.
You've got to understand, he come up against a player. He's not slow coach. It's Martinelli. He's caused Liverpool problems over the years. He's caused a lot of teams.
That was again. Who was that other right back we used to have that couldn't defend? Who was that?
Trent.
Number 66.
So I think the way the game's changed and evolved is that you can see comfortable. If you're comfortable on the ball as a midfielder, you can easily play right back, because the art of defending's kind of changed with the back in there. It was a 4-4-2, solid, that's tackle. Now, if you can come inside and, be good on the ball, because Liverpool will have most of the ball at the time, the possession, you can play in that right back role with no problem. That's why he's able to adapt and play there so easily.
So almost weirdly, it's kind of Szoboszlai more of a natural Trent replacement than Frimpong, because Frimpong is different in terms of
Gravenberch last season being reinvented into a 6,
yeah, sure.
And now potentially Szoboszlai at right back. And I think Slot wants to get him in the team in some way or another. I was really disappointed when you see, it's Twitter, but if you see the amount of 11s that came out at the start of the year, Dream 11s, when all the signings are said and done, the idea that he wasn't going to be in that lineup. I always think back to that Newcastle game last year where we drew 3-3 and we really missed him. That engine in the middle of the park. I think you have to get him in there some way or another. And there's an argument that I think Bradley probably, I would still think with Frimpong there's a fragility there, there's vulnerability there. But if you're looking for surety, I think you get that on Szoboszlai.
And then it's interesting that, while our performances haven't been as great in the first 3 games of the season, we are seeing a 4-2-3-1 formation as opposed to a 4-3-3 formation. Do you think, this Liverpool team would be more balanced if we do get Szoboszlai in that midfield 3 alongside Gravenberch and McAllister? Do you think from a defensive point of view, an organisation and control point of view, we look a little bit better?
Yeah, potentially, but there's just so much fluidity.
That's not fun, is it?
No,
let's get all the attacking players in the team.
There's just so much fluidity, isn't there? I think the amount of positions that Wirtz has sort of dropped into in the first few games of the season, and what Ekitike does when he sort of brings play forward, and then you've got Isak now, which again still feels surreal. You're adding that into the mix. McAllister and a link-up play with him and Wirtz. Gravenberch's marauding runs. I still think they're trying to work out how they get the best out of that fluidity, to be honest. And then I think Szoboszlai is a monster out of possession, ultimately. That's why he needs to be in the team, regardless. He does two men's jobs, really. Like the Henderson and the Fabinho and the Wijnaldum midfield. You get a bit of that in Szoboszlai, but you also get that flair and you get that technique and quality.
And a great Barney as well, by the way.
And a great Barney,
I have to say, it's looking magnificent. As one of the guys that, was it after a trim as a footballer? Are you a fan of the long locks of Szoboszlai?
It works for him, and he just slicks it back, takes off his hairband.
Looks cool, doesn't it?
Yeah, it looks like
he can pull it off, can't he?
Oh, of course he can.
We have to say though, we've got to be serious as well, because lots of people are upset, aren't they, at the moment? Lots of people on Twitter, keyboard warriors, unhappy at the spending from Liverpool. Like we're the only team to have spent a couple of quid. Let me just read some facts out, though, to maybe calm people down a little bit. We got £175 million for winning the league. Last season was also the club's first full campaign with a high-capacity stadium, while a new kit deal with Adidas, which some reports value at £60 million per season, kicked in from the 1st of August. Of course, we've had low transfer spending in previous seasons, so we're well within the Premier League's profit and sustainability rules. And also, as well, let's not forget, while we spent a lot of money this transfer window, of course, the departures of Diaz, Nunez, Kwanzaa, Kelleher, Trent, Morton have recouped an initial around £190 million in terms of transfer sales, and possibly that could go up today, maybe if Elliott or Gomez go. So lots of money's been spent in this window, but we've also managed to recoup nearly £200 million in transfer sales. I believe our net spend this summer is lower than Arsenal's.
Plus 60 million from Champions League. Forgot to add that as well. So,
sure.
Yeah, there's teams out there. I'm going to name what Sunderland. They've net spent more than Liverpool. So has Manchester United. So has Arsenal, who we just beat, and so has Man City. They've all net spent more than Liverpool. So the argument is just an excuse. It's people are not seeing and reading between the lines like how football, how business, how it works. They're just seeing 100 million for Wirtz, 125 for Isak. How are you doing this for the FPL rules? But we've run amazingly. The structure the business that we do, we seem to always get it right. Like I said, the season before, we spent 10 million on Chiesa.
We stopped before the season, had one signing and 2 windows, still won the league.
So this is where everyone's, I think, it's more of they're frustrated that we're doing it better and looking for an excuse to, get start tweeting.
Yeah, people love it, don't they? People love it. Is there any, do you think, part of, the way Isak's handled himself? We're over the moon, we've signed this player, but, some people say he could do it to us in a couple of years if, I don't know, Real Madrid or Barcelona come calling, you might fancy that, who knows? Is there any part of that leaves a sour taste in your mouth? Because we could sign Gahey as well, who also this season, we scored last night, didn't he? Wonderful goal, captain in Crystal Palace. Does that leave a sour taste in your mouth, or do you simply not care?
Well, he's got the outcome that he wanted, which was ultimately, we were discussing before the show, ultimately, the end game was to get to Liverpool and to be part of the Premier League champions. And I just think with him, yes, you can make the argument, well, if you stay at Newcastle for another year, then go in a year's time. But a player's career is short, ultimately, and he wants to be getting the best out of him. Is he 25 now, is he? 25 on a 6-year deal that he signed. You know, so that's sort of he's committing his prime years, and he's starting his prime years because it might take him. I mean, I don't think it'll take him too long to settle, but it might take him a couple of months to
I
settle.
wonder where he is fitness-wise.
Yeah, fitness is an interesting one. There's an argument that his first start, because Burnley away, you might throw him straight in, but, you know, you've got Ekitike already, who seems to...
By the way, as well, he's done really well. Let's not forget that, by the way. And also interesting, he's going away with Sweden as well in the international break. He is in their squad. And
there's an argument his first start could be in the derby against Everton. So for me, you know, I think he's got a couple of months just to get up to fitness and then settle into the side. But, you know, the idea that coming into Liverpool and I'm surprised, given the legacy that he's built at Newcastle, that he's gone about it so strong and so forthright, but it shows you how ambitious and determined he is to join a club like Liverpool.
Jermaine, I think you said last week's show, simply as a player yourself, you were in that situation. Did you say last week you'd almost do something similar if you wanted that move, you were so desperate for it?
If you want
the headline in your mouth there, Danny.
Listen, I wanted my move to Liverpool when I was at Birmingham, and I didn't take it out on the team. I took it out on my agent. I was like, you better make sure you make this deal, or I'm not speaking to you. I was a big kid. I threw my, you know, toys out of the pram, and every other day I was calling him saying, "What's the latest?" Nothing yet. So I put the phone down. I was just being, you know, I was more to him, but I was still training.
You were still playing, weren't you?
It was the end of the season, so I was still training and pre-season.
But you didn't think you were going to refuse to train with the team?
Oh, no. I didn't do that. But he's came out. We don't know what's really gone on behind the scenes. We don't know if he's said this or what. We just, you know, hearing what the media and what's being published. But last season, before this season ended, he notified Newcastle. I said, I see my path. I want to leave. I don't want to, you know, remain next season. They've had all that window from the end of the season all the way to now to knowing that he said he's going to leave, knowing that.
But he wants to leave.
He wants to leave,
Yeah.
knowing all that. They've had all that window to maybe try and find someone and get a resolve or have more conversation with him to see where his head's at now. And if he's still in that same mind frame that I want to go, then they should know. They've put themselves kind of in a situation. He said, I want to leave, and now he's left. But it could have been a lot smoother, a lot easier. They could have got players in.
Well, they tried, to be fair, didn't they?
Yeah,
they did try and get strikers in. They just couldn't get anyone in, could they?
They could have not unsettled the team. It could have gone, okay, Isak, we respect your wishes. You've been a great servant.
But if I was to just stick up for Newcastle, though, in that respect, football can't be as simple as that. When you've got a player that's contracted to your football club, it can't just be as simple as they say, I want to leave, and then the club goes, oh, OK, no worries, we'll do everything we can to facilitate that. You know, these players are contracted to football clubs, and he did have 3 years left on his deal. So Newcastle were in a position of strength from that point of view, Jermaine.
Yeah, but there's no loyalty. What happens when a club don't want you no more? What happens when they don't want to play you and they don't want to give you a new contract, or they don't want to... They took away... They had the chance to offer him a new bumper contract, but the sporting director said, oh, do you know what? No, you've got 4 years on your contract, you're not getting it. So there's no loyalty there after what he's just done to them. So it goes both in hand. You can't have all the way, but then when the player wants to leave, or you can't not give the player, reward him in whatever way, or you decide, right, I don't want you anymore, you can leave, you know, your family's all settled, but I'm going to send you to across the world.
One thing I would say is I do hope moving forward, because, you know, we've seen Vista do something similar, and that's not the first player to do this, probably won't be the last. We've also have seen in the transfer window someone like an Ellard stay loyal, play for Palace when required, and still get his move. We've seen the same with Gagey, where he's played for Crystal Palace, trained, working, and he might still get his move. So I do hope moving forward that we don't get into a position where this happens every single transfer window with a host of top players.
Do you think the way his agents advised him has been, you know, beneficial, and that statement that he put out as well? Because I always thought when he put the statements out that was just going to rile Newcastle up more than anything. Do you think this and obviously I know the end outcome. We look like we're heading towards him arriving at Anfield later. But do you think that you know, that was a sensible move, putting that statement out?
Well, the statement, I think yes, because there was a lot of stuff in the media, a lot of stuff that the club was saying, stuff that we didn't know what was going on, was it true or not? So, and he sat back while all these rumour mills were building, going around, was always being a rebel, he's doing this, but he kept quiet. And then it came to a point where, all right, I need to say my piece. which he said we had conversations at Newcastle.
It was vague though, wasn't it?
It was vague.
What he said. It wasn't really like, it was a bit like...
What was it? It kind of addressed some of the rumours though.
I thought Simon Jordan was bang on the money on talkSPORT. He said, all right, mate, who said it? Where did they say it? And when did they say it? Because it was pretty vague, wasn't it?
Well, it was vague, but he's not going to start pointing fingers and going, this person said that, because then you are causing more trouble than what it's worth.
But the most important thing is, from our point of view, from a Liverpool point of view, he's a Liverpool player.
Absolutely.
And there is... Hey, also, by the way, what's you, Ekitike, thinking? He's probably thinking, Gaffer, I've scored 3 goals in 3 games. I took my goals well. Why not? I'm the next Alexander Isak.
Ekitike said something very telling, I think, in his first interview with LFC TV when he first joined. And he said, I'm used to playing on the left.
Oh, okay, so he knew what was coming. He knew what was coming, didn't he? Yeah. Who would have thought Ekitike would be our third kind of like most high-profile side? Yeah. The Wirtz signing almost feels like it was in a different window. The Wirtz signing feels like it was last summer. Like, we've had him for so long and this whole window's gone on. Guys, it is transfer deadline day, so I'm no Alex Crook, I'm no Ben Jacobs, but I'm on the phone. I'm trying to find out if anything's happening with Mike Gahey. As we record this at 11:29 on transfer deadline day, no developments yet. 7 p.m, the transfer window slams shut. Did you know that? It doesn't close. It doesn't just close, it slams shut.
Even when you've got the extension paperwork as well.
Yeah. Everything gets announced. It gets announced afterwards. Yes or no, Ryan? Does Mike Gahey become a Liverpool player today?
Conflicting reports.
That's not what I asked, was it, Ryan?
Conflicting reports. There was a suggestion that Igor, Brighton's Igor,
from Brighton to Palace,
could go to Palace on loan. So maybe
do they do deals? Those football clubs, is that a thing? Do they help each other out?
I don't think they're not in a place where the rivals or challenging each other.
I wouldn't say that.
Don't say that down to Brighton or Palace, mate.
No,
you're going to get pelters in the comments,
they're
Jermaine.
obviously rivals, but they're not. They're not.
Yeah. It's not Liverpool United.
Yeah, it's not Liverpool United.
Mate, one of the biggest rivals in football, isn't it?
You're not allowed to call it a rivalry, actually.
Which one?
It's not allowed to be called a derby.
Liverpool Man United.
No, Crystal Palace.
Well, it's a rivalry, not a derby.
Yeah.
We're going back to the game yesterday. We haven't played very well, Jermaine, this season. And yet, with the only team going into the international break, 9 points from 9. Happy days, right?
It's absolutely happy days. To know that you've not been at your best, but you've coming away from 3 games and 9 points, top of the league, you couldn't have really asked for a better start, even though you could ask for a better start. You would like to play better. But ultimately, it's all about getting 3 points, and that's what we've been doing. It's going to take a little... We're going to see performance like this for probably, a couple more games until everything just clicks and the players... Like, with Kirkes, I'm seeing a little bit more confidence with him now.
He had his best game yesterday.
Yeah. He came up with Arsenal's best player, and him being taken off, I was like, wow, thanks for that, Arteta. But I thought he did well. He didn't really... Madueke didn't really get the beating of him or, shot or, all that kind of stuff. I thought he did well. But... they will get better. It's a new team, new players, especially defensively. We will start clicking and gelling and moving forward.
We were doing a watch-along together yesterday. We're on talkSPORT Goals on talkSPORT's YouTube channel, and I think we both said we maybe thought Robertson could have been a safer option to play instead of Kirkes because he has struggled.
No, not with the Madueke's pace.
You thought the pace would have been...
Robertson would have got caught out, burnt out, and would have been bang in trouble.
And that's why Jermaine's probably knows more about football than maybe me and you do, because he did start Kirkes and he did do well. There were a couple of moments where maybe you thought Madueke was close to getting the better of Kirkes, but a couple of last-ditch tackles and challenges, and he was solid. He did well.
Very solid. That was his best game, I think, in a Liverpool shirt as well. And it was interesting, the game plan from Slot, because obviously he'd been so expansive and open and committed so many bodies forward. I didn't think we attacked with the same intensity. I mean, you tell me better, Jermaine, but I don't think we attacked with the same intensity that we ordinarily did. We sat off a little bit at times and we were quite targeted. And I remember that Van Dijk moment where he steps in, wins the ball off Zubimendi, gives it away quite cheaply. That was the first real time I thought, he's really snapped into somebody there. We weren't yapping at their heels the same way.
I felt like watching the game that almost...
Against Bournemouth.
Both sides were pretty content almost just to take a point and get out of there?
I think Liverpool's approach to this game was, look, we know Arsenal are a very good team, second to best to Liverpool. And if you go gung-ho too early, they can pick you off. So it was more of like a chest match. It was like, all right, let's just, get a little taster. You punch, how it goes, let the game settle in. And we just wanted to be more cautious. We've conceded, in our last 2 games, 4 goals. So it was like, well, we can't kind of always concede and hope to score, because especially when you're playing against Arsenal, we've got probably the best defence record, over last season and so far. We've only conceded against Liverpool in the Szoboszlai's free kick. So that approach was wise. Yes, we like to be on the front foot attacking, but sometimes you're coming up against opponents like this where you've got to just be a little bit cagey. Second off, I always see a better performance when Liverpool play. All the time, if things ain't going too well in the first. And then when you're going against the Cup, even if you don't want to, or it's not in your back of your mind, you play better. That it's just a different half. It's a different game when you start attacking the Cup. And that's when we saw Liverpool start to dominate.
What did you make of Wirtz's performance, Jermaine, yesterday?
It was slow at first, but I thought he kind of grew into the game a little bit. There was some good touches, good little plays. You can see there's a player in there.
There's
you can see what he...
Definitely.
Once he's comfortable, once he's used to the physicality of the Premier League, the intensity, people don't stand off like they do in the Bundesliga. They don't watch you. The Premier League's just a beast. Once he gets to grips with that, we will see what we've paid for.
And certainly the first 2 games of the season, Newcastle away, he probably won't play in as many more intense matches than that. And even
physical.
But even the Bournemouth game as well. Bournemouth are known for being a really sort of aggressive team. So kind of 2 of the first 3 games.
3 difficult...
Hard challenges for him.
Yeah.
Arsenal, Bournemouth, Newcastle.
Not just at Liverpool, but throughout your career, when talented players come from abroad and join you, are there any examples, Jermaine, that stand out of really talented players that are good because you've seen them, they look good in training, but it just takes them a little bit of time to adapt? Can you think of any examples in your career where it maybe wasn't happening for a new signing on the pitch, but you were like, hey, stick in there, there's a player in there?
I think there's one at Stoke, actually. I think we had... Was it Bojan? Barcelona, that tiki-taka, and then as soon as you come to Stoke, and, it's a different ball game.
Was there not a time where Stoke just kept signing, Barcelona players? Players like Shaqiri come to Stoke with big reputation?
So the players, once they get used to it and the style of play, you've got to think about... When you move a team, it's not only the league you've got to get used to, it's also your team as well, your teammates, and the way they play, their style of play. Because the Bayer Leverkusen will be probably different to the way Liverpool play. So you've got to get used to that. There's loads of little fundamentals for you to be comfortable and expressive when you join a new team.
And possibly with the addition of Isak, there might be moments where Wirtz does get taken out of the team, possibly for a rest and to keep fresh. But I think it's clear you saw moments in that game yesterday. Quick feet, in and out of players. There's a good player in there, and I don't believe this Liverpool recruitment team gets something like this wrong.
No, definitely not, and especially when you're putting that amount of outlay and the amount of data that's sort of driven the search for that. But it felt like every time he got the ball yesterday, he was targeted with the press. I remember Rice crunching into him a few times.
Which is to be expected.
Gabriel, they were both, as soon as he got the ball, he didn't give him any time to breathe. So, yeah, he will get to that point where he just needs to settle into the team. He's not settled yet, but he's shown plenty of glimpses so far to be excited. And, pre-season's sort of microcosm of anything to go by, he's
a marked man. With that kind of feed, the noise around him, the best attacking midfielder, of his generation. Coaches, teams, managers, they're going to go, right, do not let Florian Wirtz get space.
Do you think Isak will change that?
Well, they're going to have a lot to worry about now with the team. So it will have an impact, because everyone knows about Isak has already proven. And that may free up a little bit of space because they'll be watching him now as well. Then you've got your Salah you got to watch. So that may free up a little bit of space. But he'll be targeted. Managers and coaches will say, right, do not give him space, because if you give him space and time, he will pick you off and he will hurt us. So he's now got to find a way to navigate that. I know that I'm going to be targeted. Movement here, find the pockets. Because sometimes, yesterday, he did find the pocket at times, but he just wasn't receiving the ball. If you give him that in the pocket and you receive the ball, he can do it on the turn. He's got the ability to do it. So I think it's just we have to be patient. He's not a bad player. No. He's a world-class player. So we've just got to be patient and let him settle into the league.
Good to see McAllister and Gravenberch reunited together yesterday.
Yeah, there's always a fitness piece as well with McAllister. He's only played a handful of minutes, so he will get better. And I always think as well, let's not forget he was nominated for the Player of the Season in the Premier League last year. He's a brilliant player, and he's underrated in my view. I think a lot of people sort of sleep on him, but this Liverpool team is becoming a team of world-class players. And with Isak through the door, it feels like the Galactico's error has arrived at Anfield, isn't it?
Ooh, say that one more time.
The Galactico's error.
Look down that
The
camera and deliver.
Galactico's error has arrived at Anfield.
Oh, inject that into my veins. The Galactico era. Honestly, and Trent left this, didn't he, to go and join the new Galacticos at Real Madrid. Don't be so silly. The new Galactico era has arrived at Anfield.
He'll be looking at this thinking, what did I do? Why did I choose Real Madrid?
Hey, he'll be back in a few weeks' time, won't he?
It'll be in his contract.
Or will he?
Going, did I, is there a callback? Is there a callback to Anfield?
Do you think he might have a little tight hamstring before the game at Anfield for Real Madrid in the Champions League?
Well, it's coming up against either TK or Salah.
But will he get in his own team?
Yeah, well, he's not at the moment, is he?
He's not.
I'm right in saying
He's out of favour.
Carvajal's starting the right back,
started.
isn't it? Yeah. If he does play, though, what player nails him in the first 5 minutes first?
I don't think no one nails him.
Oh, come on, to get that. And
Van Dijk.
you know when Bradley nailed Mbappe in that PSG game?
Yeah.
Like, that just, it set the tone for that game.
Kirkes.
Yeah,
Mine was on
right,
Kirkes.
Yeah.
Absolutely going for him.
New sign, because Kirkes, someone's got to leave
aggressive.
one, you know. That's nothing too nasty. Just to welcome back to Anfield, a little nudge or a little, that's fair game, isn't it, Jermaine?
Yeah, it would have happened to me. So.
Yeah. I can't believe actually we've done about 30 minutes of this episode and we haven't actually yet done or spoke about the Szoboszlai free kick in detail. Jermaine, talk us through the technique on that free kick and how hard that is to do from that distance.
It's very hard. Some would say it's almost impossible, but it's obviously not. But, you can have 10 attempts on that and you may score one. That's how difficult from that distance. It's kind of when you're closer around the box, you don't use that part of the foot to strike the ball because you can't get it up and down and it's too close. So you use the inside of your step to whip it. That is where is kind of not his laces, but just left of the laces. So it's got a little bit of the instep and the laces, which gets it up with pace. And it's obviously got the little bit slight whip on it. That's when you see it, go to the left. If you watch Ronaldo's free kicks, he kind of does this kind of the same thing. And yeah, you can practice them all day long.
Although I've heard rumours that apparently Cristiano Ronaldo actually now watches Dominik Szoboszlai take free kicks on YouTube and tries to base his. I don't think Ronaldo scores free kicks anymore, does he?
Not like that, and not from that distance. It was again. You have 10, and you probably won't even score one of them. It was everything about it was perfect.
Some moment, wasn't it, Ryan?
The
game needed it, didn't it?
It was. It was one of those things with Liverpool where, when Newcastle equalised, I couldn't see us winning that. And it was a point in the Bournemouth game when Bournemouth equalised, I couldn't see us winning it. I periods in that game. And yesterday, they just did not feel like there was going to be a breakthrough at any point. And it needs that moment of quality. But I didn't think it would come from 30 yards. It was about 30 yards
32.
out. 32 yards out. Off the posts, and I seen David Raya talking about the ball and that being problematic. You were never stopping the strike, doesn't matter what ball you were using.
What was he saying about the ball?
He said it's a new Premier League ball,
Yeah.
so the players are still adjusting and getting used to it. But it come off the post and in.
But I was going to say, I don't understand how.
And they've been playing with it for a couple of weeks.
When he hits it with that pace, he goes off the post.
It's
New ball, old ball. He wasn't saving that, was he?
It's an excuse because it's not like the ball went.
No.
It went in one direction as in bent like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's just an excuse. And as a goalkeeper, you just got to go, what a strike.
Oh, yeah,
he wasn't saving that.
You'd have to say, the ball.
Yeah.
You've been training with it for all pre-season. You've been playing with it 3 games now. I'm surely after training, you get some of the players and having shooting practice, you know how the ball moves.
Yeah.
It's one of those you can't plan for, isn't it, really? If you lose a game because of that strike or a goal like that, you just go, well, all the percentages are in our favour, really.
Yeah. Because it was up until that moment a pretty even game of football, wasn't it?
Yeah,
you probably have to say, I don't think either side
but
deserved to win, did they?
It was the two best teams going at it. Over the past, couple of seasons, it's been a stalemate. Anyway, it's been a draw. 2-2, 0-0, 1-1. It's been draw. So that's what happens when you get 2 juggernauts going at each other. You need sometimes, because they cancel each other out, you need a moment of magic from one of your star players. That's why we buy these players. That's why we get your Isak, your Salahs, because they can be quiet for 87 minutes, and on the 88th, they produced something
something
like,
happen, yeah.
it makes them happen. And that's what he needed.
A player's name you haven't mentioned, I wonder how many minutes he's going to get this season, because we've got lots of options in midfield, lots of options in attack, is Curtis Jones. But I thought, when he came off the bench, I thought he offered something a little bit different, Jermaine.
Yeah, he did. It's funny with Curtis, because you speak a lot of people about Curtis, they will say, good player, but sometimes he holds onto the ball too long. Sometimes he doesn't see that past that. If he gave it a 2 passes earlier, we would have gone on for a through ball or gone on to maybe have a scoring opportunity. But I think we needed to control the game a little bit. So, and that's what he can do.
It's funny, you say he sometimes takes an extra touch. I think it was Arnie Slaughter, one of the players after the Newcastle game, said that one of the lads in the dressing room said to him, but you should have taken a touch. And I looked at the comments and everyone went, it was definitely Curtis Jones, definitely Curtis Jones.
Yeah. I mean, he had a mad stat. It was either Bournemouth or Newcastle where he completed all of his passes. So it's just a sign of that control, that metronome in midfield. And Slot's obviously fancies him, doesn't he, in a game like that? When you've got so much quality on the field, the fact that he wants to bring him on and put him in the middle of the park, and he's competing with the likes of Graven, Sobbo and McAllister for a place. I think he's obviously, he's shown his way to the side. It just shows you that I think Harvey Elliott stays in the Liverpool midfield.
Yeah.
Number down.
Also, by the way, Grav, Sobbo, you've got 2 nicknames there, but you called McAllister, not Macca. That's got to be the most obvious nickname of all time, like Macca.
I gave 2 nicknames. I had to make
and then
sure
you gave McAllister, surely Macca's the most easy nickname to give to a Liverpool player.
Yeah, and Gackers. Gackers is my other one.
Gackers?
Yeah, Gackers. Gackers. I can, Gackers.
Were you a jammer? JP?
No, it's just
Penno?
Pen.
Gackers.
Gackers. I haven't heard that one.
Yeah.
Have you got it for Ekatike?
No, I haven't. Yeah.
Eckers?
Yeah.
Ek?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tiki.
Harvey Elliott is an interesting one, because we've done lots of these shows, haven't we, Jermaine? With lots of different people. We thought that he would be one that would definitely kind of move on this summer.
Yes.
But to be fair, though, I haven't read too much of other teams being. I read this morning, possibly Aston Villa might have a look today. But he hasn't been linked with too many teams, Jermaine, has he?
No, it's a weird one, because he's a good little player, and I think in the right team, the right position, it will be, a very, very useful acquisition to have. But when you're not getting game time at your current club, sometimes that's difficult. You're not putting yourself in that shop window. Where last season we saw him come and make cameos here and there, but now we're not seeing that. So on the back of that, it's difficult to get your move, especially when you're only a fringe player. You need to be playing to showcase in your little, sprinkle your stardust.
He's done enough though in cameos to show, and even with England, the under-21s, that he's clearly a talented player.
Yeah, no, he is. But clubs want more. Clubs want to see you make an impact. Clubs want to see you on the pitch. And if you're not on the pitch, then your kind of value starts slowly dipping. And at the moment, like I said, I'm very surprised that no one's.
This is the levels at Liverpool is so high at the moment. That's the point, isn't it? How does he jostle out McAllister, Szoboszlai, or Gravenberch in that midfield? He doesn't really. And then up top, he's not gonna beat Salah to a starting place. He's not going to come in for Gackers, is he? And then Ekatike.
Not a nickname like that, he's not.
No, Isak. He's not, is he?
No. So yeah, looks like Harvey Elliott is stay at the club. We have to speak about the greatest moment of the Premier League season so far. I don't know if the camera can pick this up, or maybe we can get it on the. That's not going to be able to see, is it? Yeah, we're zooming in there. Have a look at that tackle. Endo on Gyökeres right at the end of the game. That is, last 15 minutes, Endo may be the greatest midfielder in the history of football, right? There is something special, isn't there, about being 1-0 up in the game of football, 18 minutes on the clock, you know what's coming, on comes Endo, does the job, doesn't he?
Listen, I saw that challenge. And I was crying.
Would you call it a challenge, or would you call it a WWE move?
It was a definite, I was Steve Stone Cold Austin moment.
Stone Cold Steve Austin. Get her up. Put some respect on the man's name.
Guy, that
one of the greatest wrestlers of all time. Come on, man.
Not a wrestling fan.
Clearly.
I just thought I was going to see a DDT come out or something like that.
I think that was a DDT, wasn't it?
It was brilliant. I think sometimes they're called professional fouls. They're what you need sometimes. You need one of your guys.
It's about 4 or 5 all in one, though, wasn't it?
Because Gyökeres is so blown big. He had to literally do everything to try and get him on the floor.
He was wrestling on him. It was brilliant.
It's like a son and his dad, wasn't it, really? You try and pull your dad down.
Do you want to give the inside on your Inside Liverpool debut? Do you want to sing The favourite
I'm
Liverpool
not doing the Endo song.
You don't do
again.
the Endo song?
Absolutely
Unbelievable.
no chance.
You did it yesterday on talkSPORT Goals, didn't you?
No chance.
But yeah, no, he came on and he was solid, wasn't it? What do you make? From an Arsenal point of view, they're going to be our nearest challengers this season, aren't they? Were you surprised that at moments in that game yesterday they weren't a bit braver? Because some people, Jermaine, say, for Arsenal to get to the next level, they need to go to Liverpool. So you know what? We're going to beat you. We're going to take 3 points off you, not just settle for the draw. And look, sure, if it wasn't for that moment of magic, they would have got a point. Did you think Arsenal, as a former Arsenal player as well, needed to be a little more braver?
I think you need to. If you want to win the league, if you want to beat the big teams, you have to go there pragmatic. You have to go there wanting to win. We've seen it when they go to Etihad. They literally line up like they're just, okay, let's just not lose. Let's try and scrape something out of here. If we win, great. And that's not the mindset as, to be a champion. When you watch Liverpool go there expecting or wanting to win. If you come against great teams, they're going to have moments and you have to be solid and defensive and compact. But, throughout the game, you see a lot of, attacking moments and wanting to win the game. Arsenal didn't really show that. The starting lineup kind of tells you that.
The fact they went with Marino and not Eza.
Why would you not go with Eza? He's literally played all the games for Palace.
Yeah.
He's
fit. Yeah.
You bought him for the here and now.
You're right. You got an injury, so you have it.
You
so
think
you need
almost
a player.
that Jermaine as a player, you'd be like, Gaffer.
Like,
why are you not starting him?
You've
You've got this new boy.
You've got Marino's. That's his first start, so he's not played the match. He's not the match fitness. It made no sense. When he came on, he made a difference. You saw how intelligent and how creativity's got. And he almost went in and scored if it wasn't for Gomez's little nudge when he dropped to the floor.
Clever nudge.
So yeah, his selection and Odegaard, if he can come on for 25 minutes, he's got a shoulder problem. His fitness is okay. He should be able to start. So he could have played a stronger midfielder, which probably would have caused us more problems than it did, rather than sitting back and having more of a Mendy, Marino.
Yeah.
That's just trying to counteract Liverpool's attacking midfield.
It feels like Arsenal bet all their chips on defence, doesn't it? And that always then leaves you susceptible to a little bit of quality or a moment of brilliance, and it goes from a game that you're winning to a draw or a defeat. And they had so many draws last year as well. They couldn't build a run of momentum at all because they just kept getting nicked back. And I think the league's got so much quality across it. Slot's always said, he talked about Wolves last year when they had Cunha, and he said a team like Wolves who are in 17th or 16th to have somebody of his quality, and now gone to United, is always going to be able to cause an Arsenal, a Liverpool problem. And it tends to be that the team who wins, surely there'll be a stat on this, the team who scores the most goals across the league campaign will win the league. Is that going to be Arsenal this year? It's definitely not with Alexander Isak, but is that going to be Arsenal this year? You can't see it. The time when I felt Arsenal came the closest was when they went neck and neck for City, but they were playing expansive football and he was scoring goals, for fun and at will at times. They've just regressed a little bit in my view.
Yeah. Perhaps that's one for Inside Arsenal in a bit more detail. I'm sure there'll be an Inside Arsenal show at some point this week. Thankfully, though, in the long term, not our problem, is it? What is our problem? Our delight, is that Alexander Isak, today at some point on deadline day, on this wonderful Monday, is going to be confirmed as a Liverpool player. We learnt late last night after the game, a fee has finally been agreed, £125 million. He's in Liverpool right now. The medical today, 6-year contract. We've got a couple of minutes left, guys. Jermaine Pennant, Alexander Isak is a Liverpool player.
Yeah, the thought of that is just...
How many goals is he going to score this season?
That's a good question.
I'm already imagining...
I don't want to...
I'm just imagining the first one-on-one in front of the Kop. Just a simple, the way he opens up his body and just sort of Thierry Henry-esque just places the ball in the far corner. And also... we're going to get one of those in front of the Kop,
finally,
right?
Finally,
well, that's the thing, isn't it?
I don't want to see that ever again.
You saw it once, didn't we, in March against Arsenal? I don't want to see it ever
how they're
again.
going to stage that announcement today. I wonder if they will do a little bit of that, or they'll feel it's a little bit too disrespectful to Newcastle.
As soon as he scores.
I don't think Isak's worried about being disrespectful to Newcastle, is he?
I think that ship sailed.
Yeah. And also, as well, by the way, these international breaks. I know it's nothing new having an international break at this stage of the season, but It's too early, isn't it?
Bit too early.
3 games into this, it'll go away on World Cup qualifiers. When we do come back, though, we've got Burnley away in the Premier League. We've got Atletico in the first Champions League game. Everton then come to Anfield. We go to Selhurst Park to play Palace. We've got another Champions League game against Galatasaray. And also we've got Chelsea away as well before the next international break. So Merseyside derby in there, Chelsea away, a couple of tricky Champions League games, some big games coming in right after the international break.
Yeah, I think that's when you see Liverpool start to shine, though, when they get into that rhythm of every 3 days and they're playing teams of that quality, they seem to find a way. I think what's so exciting about Isak, it just offers you another option. You know, because he's a connective tissue across the line, but he's also a lethal operator. And the fluidity now that we get with Ekitike, with Wirtz, with Gakpo, with Salah, with Isak, it's frightening, isn't it? You know, you could have a 4-4-2, you could change your formation if you wanted to, you could play Wirtz on the left if you wanted to.
Possibly Isak and Ekitike together, because Ekitike, his last club, played with Marmoush as a 2, and that's where he got a lot of his success.
And he only needs, I think the big thing is Ekitike, quality player, and he scores brilliant goals, and seems you know, that finish against Newcastle and in the Community Shield, you know, he scores in a flash. Like he's able to, you know, find goals instinctively. But if I look at someone like Isak, he's just another level up. You know, in terms of composure and experience, he only needs a sniff. And Liverpool are always going to create a sniff of a chance. So against the Palace away at Selhurst Park, 85 minutes in, if we've not scored, and you were bringing him on, depending on his fitness and depending on, because that'd be 3 games in at that point. But if you're bringing him on, you'd fancy, you know, him to create something out of nothing. So out of all the, you know, the questions that teams can ask Liverpool, that's another answer that you've got now, because you've got someone who's absolutely lethal. You know, leading the line for Liverpool, and it's just extraordinary.
Can you see me just smiling throughout that whole answer, by the way? Just the thought. It's going to be a long 13 days, this, by the way, because I feel like I want to see it right now. I really mean it when I say there is no better way to start the week on a Monday morning than to be alongside you guys talking about Liverpool Football Club being top of the Premier League and signing all these wonderful players. Gents, thank you very much, and I'm sure we'll all be sat on our phones, listening to talkSPORT, maybe with the telly on, waiting for that announcement, right, of Alexander Isak.
Absolutely. Yeah. It's getting plastered on my Instagram as well, if it does.
I'm sure it is. Thank you so much for watching Inside Liverpool. I've been Sam Ellard, he's been Jermaine Pennant, he's been Ryan Bromilow. We're going to take a break on Inside Liverpool. We'll be back on the other side of the international break. But so far, so good. Premier League champions, happy days. 3 wins from 3, happy days. A busy transfer window so far, happy days. And today will be the day, finally, where Alexander Isak will become a Liverpool player. Possibly as well, Mark Gahey. Thank you very much for watching Inside Liverpool. We'll be back in a couple of weeks' time.
You seem to have been running around upsetting people, Spencer, you treacherous little hound.
Boom! Like that. That's where he was getting stuck.
Opinions are opinions. They're like backsides. Everybody's got one.
I stand by that. I still think it was a terrible decision.
Well, it takes 2 to tango.